Now it's time to start designing your Illustrator button. First, open up Illustrator and place your image. After you placed your image, make sure you go to your layers and you've locked your image. Next, you have to look at your image to see what would be the best way to design it. In our first example, we're going to draw our circle first. Use your circle tool to complete a nice circle. That will be the shape of our button. And you can see. Next, look inside your design. If you have text that's going around, you're going to be using type and a path. And you'll find that video on the website. Second, you have to look at your design and see what would be the best way to draw it. So in this sketch here, it's not very straight in my center design. My arrow is not very good. I can do all of that in Illustrator in a much cleaner version. So instead of using the pen tool in this example, I'm going to use my shape tool, such as a rectangle. I'm going to make a second rectangle, actually a perfect square. And in this perfect square, I'm going to line them up. And then I'm going to come to my anchor points. I'm going to turn in this perfect rectangle into a triangle. And I'm going to pull it down, make more of my shape. I'm going to take both shapes. And you'll often have to use your Pathfinder in various ways. I'm going to add them together. And now I have an arrow. For my background, if I have something to divide, think about your project that you did for the background of your cartoon character. And then that would be using and selecting both objects and circle and using a divide. And I would continue making the badge in the back using one of our shapes that we did for our cartoon character. Next, let's look at an illustration. You want to make sure that you have zoomed in onto your design when you're working on it. Again, I'm going to start by drawing my outer circle. And when in illustration, I'm going to have to trace with my pen tool. So in this instance, I'm looking at fields of color, rays of sun. So you would start with your pen tool. I'm going to do the fields. And I'm doing the field here, color. And I'm going to do my last one. Notice that I've gone outside the circle for each one of these. Now when it comes to my sun, I'm not going to try to pen tool it. I'm going to use a shape that's much appropriate, which is our ellipse tool. Suns are perfect circles. Now that I started with my shapes, now it's about thinking about how to put these shapes inside the object here. Now that I have my shapes, I'm making sure that everything touches each line or goes outside. Remember, you're using the Pathfinder tool for a lot of your drawing in Illustrator. I'm going to select everything and I'm going to divide it. Now that I've divided, I'm going to be adding pieces together, such as these two I will add together. These two strips I will add together. After I divided, I need to sometimes put shapes back together. And now I have a perfect sun in different fields that I can then go and color. as you can see here, with the perfect sun, with my rays, and if I needed this. And lastly, I probably would remove my stroke. So there's lots of ways to go about working on your designs, thinking about the best way to make your design, whether it's using shapes to redraw from your sketch or using the pen tool and tracing over what you drew. If you are going to do text, you can use the type tool, or you can use your pen tool and physically draw your letters. But you must draw them with your pen tool. And good luck, and if you have any questions, ask me.